Good evening and welcome to Stuart Field in Chicago, Illinois for another presentation of NCAA Division III Men's Soccer here on YouTube Live and on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. This evening, the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks wrap up the 2025 NCAA Division III Men's Soccer regular season as they play host to the Rockford Regents. Once again, hello everyone. I'm Chris Rouse here on the call, and it certainly feels like October here in Chicago this evening. It's a 53-degree evening, but the real story of this matchup will be the wind and the wind effect on this matchup. The wind has been blowing all day long. 16-mile-per-hour winds now. Winds have reached as high as 17, 18, 19 today, so it's been in the high teens, yet to crack the 20s on the miles per hour. But Illinois Tech looking to wrap up this season today against the Rockford Regents. Illinois Tech 9-5-3 on the season, 6-3-2 in conference play, and they're actually facing pressure coming into this matchup. With this being the regular season finale, Illinois Tech hoping to finish as high as 5th in the NAC conference standings, which still won't net them a home matchup in the first round of the NAC conference tournament, but it'll at least get them a higher seed as they look to try to match the 5 seed, try to get the 5 seed. However, Dominican already with a win today, currently in the 5th spot. Meanwhile, Illinois Tech, if they win this matchup against Rockford, they would, however, take the tiebreaker, having a better record against other conference opponents. Illinois Tech, when they met Dominican earlier this season, their match ended in a 1-1 draw. So for tonight, the purple-clad Rockford Regents, who come in with a record of 2-14-1, only one conference win this season. They've been shut out in their last 6 matchups. They have not scored in 7 matches. They've been shut out in each of their last 6, and they'll go up against this Illinois Tech team and try to spoil Illinois Tech's seeding opportunity in the NAC conference standings. The introduction of the starting lineups and the introduction and the playing of the national anthem, and then we'll also get the opening kickoff. All of that and more right here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and YouTube Live after this.
Senior defender from Lindenhurst, number 3, Andrew Roth. Sophomore midfielder from Clarksburg, Maryland, number 4, Tommy Wadlock. Senior midfielder for Castle Rock, Colorado, number 8, Chardell Osasa. A junior forward from Rockford, Illinois, number 9, Rayon Jacoby. Sophomore midfielder from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, number 10, Sophomore midfielder from Chicago, number 17, Sebastian Herrera. Sophomore defender from Aurora, Illinois, number 20, Omar Gutierrez. Junior midfielder from Rockford, number 21, Francesco Stone. Junior defender from Landon Lake, Wisconsin, number 23, Bennett Adler. Sophomore midfield forward from Hotchkiss, Illinois, number 33, Julio Lopez. Coached by head coach assistant coaches. And then on the starting lineup for your Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. In goal, junior from New York, number 1, David Rodriguez. First forward for San Jose, Costa Rica, number 2, Mateo Sakaya. A senior defender from Springfield, Illinois, number 3, Matthew Watson. Senior midfielder from El Dorado Hills, California, number 4, Ben Mel. A junior midfielder from Peoria, Illinois, number 8, Paul Malaya. Sophomore forward from Parker, Colorado, number 9, Cal Grant. A first-year midfielder from Peoria, Illinois, number 12, Theo Malaya. Junior defender from Homer Glen, Illinois, number 16, Jake Skiba. Junior midfield forward from Gaithersburg, Maryland, number 17, Tomas Revelado. Junior defender midfielder from Bensonville, Illinois, number 25, Dominic Trumpa. And a junior defender from Plainfield, Illinois, number 35, Matthew Hippolito. The Scarlet Hawks are coached by head coach Marlon McKenzie in his second season. Assistant coaches here's Julio Soto and Mateo Sanchez. Now all fans, please rise for the pass wearing any of the Honor America for the ring of our national
Scarlet Hawks and Regents getting ready to kick things off here at Stuart Field. Rockford coming in with a record of 2-14-1 behind first-year head coach Ethan Higgins. They will start in the field with this starting 11 going numerically beginning in the field. First with number 3, Andrew Roth. Number 4, Kavi Wadwa. Number 8, Shardell Musada. Number 9, Rayan Jacupi. Number 10, Lane Mendoza. Number 17, Sebastian Herrera. Number 20, Omar Gutierrez. Number 21, Francisco Stoner. Number 23, Bennett Abler. And number 33, Emilio Lopez rounds out the players in the field. In the net, the keeper will be number 0, Wesley Pritzloff, the sophomore out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Goes 6'2", 195 pounds. And if Rockford's going to wrap up their season with one final win, they'll look to Pritzloff to keep the Scarlet Hawks out of the net. On the other end, looking to keep the Regents out of the net will be the 5'11 junior out of Newburgh, New York. Number 1, David Rodriguez. Marlon McKenzie will send the following 10 players out to round out the starting 11 in front of Rodriguez. It'll be number 2, Mateo Sakaira, Illinois Tech's leader in goals scored. Number 3, Matthew Watson. Number 4, Ben Mail. Number 8, Paul Balea. Number 9, Cal Graham. Number 12, Theo Balea. Number 16, Jake Skiba. Number 17, Tomas Rebolado. Number 25, Dominic Krupa. And number 35, Matthew Hippolito. Illinois Tech 7-0-1 all-time against Rockford, including 1-0 wins in each of the last 2 meetings. This is the 9th all-time meeting, and we kick it off with Illinois Tech sending the ball into the northwest corner here at Stuart Field. We're underway here in Chicago. Chris Rouse on the call. We're glad that you're joining us here for the regular season finale between the Regents and the Scarlet Hawks. These two teams also met in women's soccer action earlier, with Illinois Tech winning handedly on the women's side to wrap up the regular season. And once again, one final major statement win to claim that top seed on the women's side. Matthew Watson with a quick play in the middle of the pitch for Illinois Tech, gives it up to Paul Balea. It's Mateo Sakaira, who has been a fun player to watch this season for Illinois Tech. The Mateo magic has been real this season. The goal in the 84th minute back on October the 18th against MSOE. And then, of course, the goal with seconds remaining to help Illinois Tech win 3-2 in their last outing against the Falcons, representing Concordia University of Wisconsin. The pressure on the Scarlet Hawks here, with Dominican having won earlier 4-0 against Concordia University of Chicago. And when Illinois Tech played Dominican earlier this season, Tomas Rebolado had the Scarlet Hawks' lone goal in a 1-1 tie. And while Illinois Tech may be looking back at that matchup much the same as they're looking back at the Marion matchup, as that's 2 matches that could have been wins and Illinois Tech could be hosting going into the NAC Conference tournament. Such is life, they've played on. And despite having possibly 2 matches that could have been wins, Illinois Tech ended up with 2 ties. But they do have the tiebreaker over Dominican in regards to whether they win or lose tonight, meaning if Illinois Tech wins this matchup, they claim the 5th seed in the NAC Conference standings. Looking up and down this Rockford roster, a lot of Rockford natives. You got a lot of Boylan, a lot of Guilford, a lot of Rockford Auburn. Rockford Auburn routinely makes the trip up to Chicago to take on different schools in basketball, so good to see some of their players started getting acknowledged on the soccer pitch as well. Foul against Illinois Tech, so it would be a foul against the Scarlet Hawks. And Rockford will get the free kick here. It appears that that's Andrew Roth, and Roth sends it down. Rockford they've lost their last 11 matches, have the Regents. They've been shut out in the last 6. Their most recent goal came back on October the 4th. That was a 3-2 loss at the hands of Wisconsin Lutheran. Now here's Illinois Tech with their chance to push the ball towards the net. In towards the net, and a goal! Scarlet Hawks strike in a hurry. Tomas Rebolado opens the scoring for Illinois Tech. Goal number 5 on the season for Tomas Rebolado. This one unassisted. We mentioned Rebolado scored earlier this season in the 1-1 tie against Dominican. His goal right now has helped this magical season for Illinois Tech. It's helped them gain the tiebreaker over Dominican, and that's a good start for the Scarlet Hawks as they take a 1-0 advantage here in the 3rd minute. That's actually Rebelato's first goal since that matchup against Dominican back on October the 15th. And we mentioned earlier how Rockford, they haven't scored since October the 4th. That was a goal in the 82nd minute by Lane Mendoza. He's actually currently tied for the team lead with 5 on the season for the Rockford Regents alongside his teammate Rayan Jacoupy. Illinois Tech with the ball over on that east side of the pitch, and that's played over to Watson and sent down by Illinois Tech. That's Musada on the touch for Rockford. Played it over to Lane Mendoza. First touch for Mendoza. Mendoza played it back to Wadwa. Wadwa unable to handle the ball, and now Illinois Tech takes possession with Jake Skiba. Illinois Tech, we mentioned they 7-0-1 all-time against Rockford. 1-0 wins in each of their last 2 victories. The last time these two teams met here at Stuart Field, October 25th, 2023. And with the player that scored for Illinois Tech, Paul Balea, number 8, a goal in the 51st minute. So a player that's actually still on the roster. Meanwhile, a player that's no longer on the roster helped them win last season. It was Devin Zachary. Salute to Devin Zachary. See him a lot on social media representing the Scarlet Hawks. He came over with a goal in the 7th minute when these two teams met on October 30th of last year. So almost a year to the date since Zachary's goal last season to help Illinois Tech win 1-0 at Rockford. Scarlet Hawks with the ball out near midfield. And now taken away by Lane Mendoza. Good run opportunity here for Sebastian Herrera. He tried to play the ball up the pitch. Bit of a miscommunication there for Rockford as Lopez fell down. And now the ball goes out of play. Head coach Marlon McKenzie here in his 2nd season with the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks, but he's far from a 2nd-year head coach. I mean, he's only a 2nd-year head coach, but he's far from only having 2 years of experience as a coach. He was, of course, on Amy Reiffert's staff for 10 seasons over at the University of Chicago, 5 miles south from here, about 25 blocks at Stagg Field. Spent a long time with the University of Chicago helping goalkeepers like Sophia Sasaki and Adrian Chan and Miranda Malone on Amy Reiffert's roster. Now here doing it on the men's side for Illinois Tech. He's got a 1-0 advantage as the Scarlet Hawks get a free kick. This is usually where Krupa, 25 in white, goes to the front post. That's where he's headed. That's where the ball is going to go to the opposite direction, goes to that back post. Now remember, with the wind being a factor here, it's going to be tough to get some of those balls towards that north net as you watch this matchup. Remember, Illinois Tech is headed towards the north net. Rockford is headed towards the south net. The wind blowing at 16 miles per hour northeast, which means there's a bit of a crosswind. So you're going to be kicking with some resistance as you try to send that ball towards the north net, or try to go the opposite of the north net. And that was a situation where Illinois Tech tried to cross it, and the wind sort of may have taken that one away. Rodriguez played it over, and now it's played back to the middle of the pitch to Krupa. Chicago living up to its nickname today, the Windy City. And now a missed play there for Illinois Tech. You see some of the miscommunication on some of these passes. Really not even miscommunication. It's just that added defender in the wind. You just see how tough that was for Wadwa to play it back to Musada. Musada sends it in towards Rodriguez. Easy play off the hop for David Rodriguez. Quite the turnaround here for Illinois Tech on the men's side. They've been in the middle of the pack, still in the middle of the pack this season, but find themselves on the favorable side of the middle of the pack that will have them inside the NAC tournament. And so quite the season from Illinois Tech. which got off to a very fast start. Scarlet Hawks off to a fast start this evening against Rockford, and hoping that it will carry them at least into that 5th seed. Already 1 goal early from Tomas Rebellato, his 5th of the season. Quick touch to the middle of the pitch for Illinois Tech. There's Sakira. Sakira sends it down. Well-played ball. Chance to go for goal. The pass is sent over. It's in front of the net. And the Scarlet Hawks get the goal, but it'll be offside to negate the score from Cal Graham. So no goal. And Rockford will take possession, and they're going to take it quickly with Wadwa and Musada playing it back to one another. Herrera found himself surrounded, gave it up to Mendoza. Nice move by Herrera to go to the inside, and he plays it forward. Good ball for Lopez. Lopez has a race to the ball. Rodriguez gives up his body to keep Lopez from getting a strike on the net. Bit of a dangerous play from David Rodriguez, but it paid off. He kept Rockford off the board, at least for the time being, as the Regents try to charge the net again. Pretty tough battle with Mendoza, as Mendoza knocks Balea to the ground, and the foul will go against Lane Mendoza. Lane Mendoza, the 5'10", 165-pound sophomore out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 5 goals on the season. Tied for the team lead alongside Rayan Jacoupy, number 9 and 10, both with 5 goals on the season. Illinois Tech playing with their back line here, 3 men on that back line. Bit of a 3-3-4 look here for Illinois Tech. And that's a long pass out of play, well over the head of Cal Graham, well over our broadcast location as well. Herrera with a turn, gets some instructions from the sideline. Ethan Higgins in his first season as the head coach for Rockford. Giving instructions to Sebastian Herrera as he tries to play it up the pitch. They get it to Watwa, and it's taken away by Mateo Sakira. Sakira this season, 12 goals to go with a pair of assists. And he has put up certainly some highlight reel goals for Illinois Tech this season. That goal against MSOE a couple of weeks ago, certainly one of the highlights of the season. Capped off they were Illinois Tech on both the men's and women's side. Had 1-0 victories with goals in the 86th on the women's side by Tavessa Vatalia. And then on the 84th minute, the goal scored by Sakira. Here's Balea. Balea to Sakira. Sakira makes a move. He goes for goal, but he finds the fence here at Stuart Field. Was trying to show the Mateo magic. However, he comes up empty, and it will be a goal kick. So Wesley Pritzloff, sophomore out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he'll send his team down the pitch. He's going to send the ball long, a low line drive out near midfield. Header from Francisco Stoner. Jacoupy battling for the ball here. And the foul will go against number 9 in purple, Jacoupy, as he knocks Theo Balea down. Mentioned Mateo Sakira, that goal against MSOE, how huge that was on that Saturday. How huge was that goal against Concordia University of Wisconsin on the 22nd, last Wednesday. His goal with 18 seconds allowed Illinois Tech to avoid the fate of having what would have been a third tie that probably definitely would have sealed their fate as the 6th seed, as opposed to if they would have won that matchup and had the result that they have here. Illinois Tech would already be locked into the 6th seed had they not gotten that win, thanks to Sakira, and had that been another tie. And as the season goes on, it's those type of matchups, those matchups that you should have won 1-0, and those matches that you ended in draws, 1-1 ties, that you think about when it comes down to seeding. But at the moment, it's Cal Graham trying to create for Illinois Tech, and the ball cleared out by Rockford. Matthew Watson in possession. He think about that 1-0 win against MSOE. Then you think about the 1-1 tie against Dominican, the 1-1 tie against Marion, and then the 3-2 win against Concordia University of Wisconsin. If all went right for Illinois Tech, they very well could be hosting in the NAC quarterfinals. But you win some, you lose some, and of course in this sport, sometimes you tie. There's a chance to go for goal! Cal Graham gives Illinois Tech a 2-0 advantage. Tomas Rebellato with a goal. Now he gets an assist as he helps Cal Graham find the back of the net. Rebellato with goal number 5 and assist number 4 in the matchup. Cal Graham now with his 8th of the season. That's good for second on the team. And Illinois Tech now with a 2-0 advantage over Rockford. And if you're the Scarlet Hawks, that'll definitely give Illinois Tech some breathing room here as they look to try to lock in that number 5 seed in the NAC Conference tournament. We got a tackle out near midfield. Graham went down. Ball played back to Illinois Tech's back line. Hippolito over to Rodriguez, and now here's Watson. Watson up to Paul Balea. Now Theo Balea. Paul 8, Theo 12. Ben Mill plays it over to Garcia. Garcia has a goal in his career against Rockford. That was actually the last time Rockford scored against Illinois Tech. That was back in a 1-1 tie back in 22, excuse me. And a foul here. So when these two teams met back on October 26th, 2022 here at Stuart Field, Christian Garcia had a goal in the 52nd minute, and there was a goal in the 88th minute by Javier Palacios as that matchup ended in a 1-1 tie. And Rockford has been unable to score against Illinois Tech in each of the last 2 meetings, with Illinois Tech winning just 1-0 both times out. Illinois Tech already up 2-0 here this evening, here in the 2025 NAC regular season finale. Remember, Illinois Tech, they're more so chasing Dominican at this point. Dominican already with a 4-0 win earlier to conclude their regular season slate as they defeated Concordia University of Chicago. Ball out of play here to Illinois Tech. So for Dominican, it was simple. For Illinois Tech, it was simple. Win, and you're in as the 5 seed. For Dominican, you win, and you need Illinois Tech to lose here to Rockford. And so far, the results favor Illinois Tech. We've played 15 minutes here at Stuart Field. And Tomas Rebellato and Cal Graham have the 2 goals for the Scarlet Hawks. Rockford, tried to switch it, and it hit Wadwa in the back. Now the pass is switched. It's a long run for Lane Mendoza. Oh, that's a good touch from Mendoza to play it forward, but he sends it long out of play, and Illinois Tech will get the goal kick. You can see the idea from Lane Mendoza, try to get a bit of a faster touch to get out ahead of the closing defender in Balea. He also had Watson in the vicinity. He was able to get out ahead of both and get to the ball, but he put the ball too far ahead of himself to even make a play. Emilio Lopez has had a few solid runs for Rockford. He'll throw it in. Sends it into Jacoupy. Wadwa sends it to the outside, looking for Lopez. That ball is going to go out of play. It will be an Illinois Tech throw-in here on that southeast corner. Scarlet Hawk throw. Pretty good turn for Illinois Tech as they try to get up the pitch. Rockford to win possession. Wadwa. It appears Rockford wants to go through Wadwa on that middle line connection, but now takeaway for Illinois Tech. It was Paul Balea. He plays it up to Sakira. Sakira's dispossessed by Abler. And the switch pass from Stoner over to Lane Mendoza. Mendoza to Musada and right back. And then back to the back line with Abler. Roth. Right foot kick sends it down the pitch. Possessed by Illinois Tech. And now Lopez wins possession. Lopez goes for goal. Low liner may have been deflected. Easy play for Rodriguez as he just falls on it. Rockford's turned it up these last couple of minutes, but still nothing too dramatic for Rodriguez in the last couple of minutes of game action. Rockford to this point still with just one shot, and that one shot on goal, it came courtesy of Emilio Lopez. Ball played over to Watson. Oh, Watson with a bit of a mishandle. Mendoza crowded his space, but couldn't win possession. Rodriguez sent that ball into a crowd of players. Luckily, he hit Jake Skiba. And now we got to run for the Scarlet Hawks. A chance to go for goal again. It's Graham going for the net. The ball's deflected, and it finds the back of the net for another goal. Cal Graham for the second time. And Illinois Tech with a 3-0 advantage. Cal Graham from Paul Balea, 9 from 8. Easy to remember that on the numerical stat sheet. So Graham with his second goal of the match, his 9th of the season, and Illinois Tech up 3-0. Assist there from Balea is his 4th of the season. And Illinois Tech up 3-0. Still plenty of time to go here in the first half. Rockford throw in. And the Regents really just having problems getting around that Illinois Tech defense on that back line. Now they get it out with Lopez. Lopez for Mendoza. Mendoza goes for goal. Once again, ball may have been deflected, but an easy save there by Rodriguez. So Rebellato opened the scoring in the 3rd minute for Illinois Tech. And then Cal Graham with a pair of assists. Cal Graham with a pair of goals, one assisted by Rebellato. Illinois Tech with Graham again. Plays it to Sakira. Sakira goes for goal. It's knocked away. Good job there by the keeper, Pritzloff, to get down and knock the ball free. So Illinois Tech will get their first corner of the matchup. It will come from Paul Balea. So Illinois Tech with Sakira and Krupa both playing in the middle of the net here. Also worth watching Jake Skiba, number 16. The ball goes in. It's headed away. Sakira tries to go for goal! And Sakira finds the back of the net as well. So Mateo Sakira in the 20th minute gets his 13th, his team leading 13th goal of the season. Unassisted goal for Sakira, his 13th of the season. And Illinois Tech continues to add on to their first half lead. Scarlet Hawks have come prepared to wrap up the season in proper fashion as they've been on their game already. A 4-0 advantage is now Rockford's number 4. Wadwa possesses the ball. He plays it up to Jacoupy, and he can't get there in time for a Scarlet Hawks throw in. 4-0 Scarlet Hawks. Tomas Rebellato in the 3rd minute. Cal Graham in the 14th minute, assisted by Rebellato. Graham again, assisted by Paul Balea. in the 19th minute. And then in the 20th minute, it was Mateo Skyra with the goal to give Illinois Tech the 4-0 advantage in the matchup. Ball possessed now by Stoner for Rockford. Illinois Tech got a trio of subs in following that last goal, one of them including Carson Floyd, number 23. He's in for the first time. And now we get a run with Theo Balea, and there is Carson Floyd as he's the recipient of the pass. Ball played at the pitch to Ben Mill. Mill sends the ball long to the outside. It's a pretty good run for Illinois Tech. They try to cross it in. Easy play for the keeper. Logan Garcia was the player sending the ball in. Easy play for the keeper, Pritzloff, who's been under attack from this Illinois Tech offense for the majority of this first half. Scarlet Hawks, very efficient attack. 6 shots, 5 on goal, 4 goals. Also a pair of assists on those 4 goals for Illinois Tech. Switch pass for the Scarlet Hawks. It's Ben Mill. Looking over at Coach Marlon McKenzie, starting to get more of his reserves ready to come in here for Illinois Tech. Once again, this is the regular season finale. Illinois Tech knows that if they win this, they'll be the 5 seed. Ball sent down and played by Theo Balea. Mateo Sakaira. We're 1-on-1 with Stoner. He passed it off. And Illinois Tech will play it back. Ben Mill. Mill. Hit Balea. Scarlet Hawks looking to switch one here. They go back to Mill. Mill and Theo Balea, the 2-man game. And Illinois Tech whistled for offside. If you're just joining us, Illinois Tech with a 4-0 advantage over the Rockford Regents here in the 2025 NAC men's soccer regular season finale. Illinois Tech with a record of 9-5-3, 6-3-2 in conference play, taking on the Rockford Regents, 2-14-1, 1-10 in conference play. I'm Chris Rouse here on the call. Earlier today, Dominican with a 4-0 win over Concordia. That put the pressure on Illinois Tech and made this a must-win match if Illinois Tech wanted to be the number 5 seed in the NAC conference tournament. So Illinois Tech matching that pressure with a 4-0 advantage. So matching Dominican here. As now Rockford with a switch pass to Wadwa. I'm not sure if we had a player warming up on the sideline or the wind blew it, but there was a random ball that just appeared on the field. You might have saw it as the ball was played on the west side of the pitch. Switch pass here taken away by Carson Floyd as now Mateo Sakaira played it back to Balea. Taken up the pitch by Rockford. Herrera battling Jake Skiba. And the possession won by Rockford. Hippolito sends it down. That back line for Illinois Tech, they haven't been under too much duress this evening. Rockford again just playing it along that back line. At this point, if you're Rockford, you really don't mind. You're down 4-0. There's actually still plenty of time to go in the match. You would love to try to at least play through your back line to settle and try to create something offensively. But Illinois Tech with that pressure as they now have possession. And there's a tackle as Theo Balea is taken down by Stoner. Francesco Stoner, the junior out of Munster, Indiana, listed as 5'8", 145 pounds. Stoner will pick up the foul. That'll give Illinois Tech the free kick, where Mateo Sakaira will set the ball down. Christian Garcia, the senior out of Burbank, Illinois, is also in the vicinity. But it appears it will be Sakaira to take the kick. Illinois Tech again with more of their reserves starting to head towards the midfield table. Sakaira goes for goal, and Sakaira sends it high off the fence. Kyra with the most recent goal for Illinois Tech, his 13th of the season. That occurred in the 20th minute. And Illinois Tech up 4-0. The goal from Rebolado was his 5th of the season. Cal Graham with a pair of goals. He's got the brace. Goals 8 and 9 for Graham. And then Sakira with his 13th of the season. Illinois Tech had Sakira in possession again, and now a run on the east side of the pitch with Hippolito. Hippolito facing the pressure from Herrera. Ball goes to the inline and over the byline for a Scarlet Hawk corner. Illinois Tech with 6 players getting set to check in, but that'll all wait till after the corner here. It's Christian Garcia ready to send it in. Krupa and Sakira into the net. Skiba actually will not join the attack this time. Actually, it'll be Watson, who's playing really out near the keeper's box. The ball sent in. It was going to Floyd. It was headed away by Musada for Rockford. Ball played back by Illinois Tech to Mel. Mel gave it up, and then he gets it right back. I thought he was going to go to Skiba. Instead, he played it up the pitch, looking for Theo Balea. And the ball was played, actually taken away by Rockford and then played out. And now Illinois Tech with 6 new players getting set to check in the matchup. I know Karagiannis is one of them, number 24. Carter Liskey, number 7, comes on. Tatum Miller, number 18. Piero Shemitris, number 31, is also coming to the matchup. Zach Skiba, number 15, came on. And I believe there was one more that I actually might have missed. There was literally 6 of them lined up right here in front of me here. And we'll see if we can get it. Actually, Nick Skiba is the final player. So those are the 6 that came in. Meanwhile, here's Rockford going for goal. Rodriguez makes another easy save here as he gets down and puts his hands underneath the ball. So Athanasios Karianis came on as well. We mentioned he was the first one, number 24 for Illinois Tech. Piros Shemitris came in, along with Tatum Miller, Zach Skiba, Nick Skiba, and Carter Liskey. So those were the 6 that came on for Illinois Tech. And now Rockford looks like they're going to get their first sub in as well. Illinois Tech in possession here on that far side, or in possession of that east side, is now Karagiannis. Played it up the pitch, and now a run for Logan Garcia. Garcia, nice move to the inside. He found himself surrounded, and then it was cleared out there by Watwa, and that will lead to an Illinois Tech corner. 4-0 Scarlet Hawks. We've played just about 30 minutes here at Stuart Field. Illinois Tech with 4 goals. Tomas Rebolado, Cal Graham with a pair, and then Mateo Sakira rounding out the pack. Ball sent in on the corner. There's a header. It's knocked down. Still yet to be cleared. Scarlet Hawks send it back in, just wide of the net. And out of play for a goal kick. That was Shemitris on the goal kick, on the opportunity to go for goal. Number 38, Devin Hinko, comes on for the first time for Rockford, along with number 25, Mitchell Pritzloff. And also joining them will be number 14, Ian Jurgensen, the junior out of Ames, Iowa. They'll replace Watwa, Musada, and Jacopi. So a fresh 3 out there for Rockford after Illinois Tech just put out a fresh 6, a fresh 6-pack of Scarlet Hawks. Now ball played to the middle of the pitch. And Stoner has possession. Illinois Tech, that corner was their 3rd of the match. Illinois Tech 9 shots, Rockford with 3. Rockford, however, all 3 of their shots on goal, but none in the goal as they trail 4-0. They'll get their first corner of the match here, and one of the first times we'll see a Rockford set piece this evening. The Regents look out of sync here on the set piece as Jurgensen and Mendoza were communicating. Karayanis and Mendoza battling in the net as Rockford gets ready to send it in. Good height on that corner. They were going to that back post to Roth, but Rodriguez able to get in front of it and make the grab. Coming up at halftime here on YouTube Live and on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network, we'll go over our first half stats, recap all 4 goals scored by Illinois Tech to this point of the matchup. And then also we'll go on our NAC scoreboard, around the scoreboard in both men's and women's soccer action. We mentioned Illinois Tech with a dominant win earlier against Rockford to seal the deal and make one last regular season statement as the #1 team on the women's side of things. And then, of course, as we mentioned earlier, Dominican with a 4-0 win over Concordia University of Chicago to put the pressure on the Scarlet Hawks here. And we'll go over all of the standing scores and more. All of that at halftime right here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. Also, women's volleyball action taking place here at Illinois Tech, right across the way at the Keating Sports Center. Illinois Tech women's volleyball taking on Benedictine. But right here on the pitch, Scarlet Hawks with a 4-0 advantage. A lot of quick passing here from Garcia to Floyd. Sliding effort from Rockford sends it out of play. And the Scarlet Hawks will get a throw. Ball played back to Rodriguez. Head coach Marlon McKenzie in his 2nd season has an Illinois Tech team that will, at least if results hold, will be the 5 seed in the NAC conference tournament. And another matchup, we've mentioned Dominican a number of times, another matchup worth watching in the NAC this evening, MSOE versus St. Norbert. Those 2 teams battling out for the 3 and 4 seed. And with Illinois Tech up 4-0, the winner of that matchup, or actually the loser of that matchup, could possibly face Illinois Tech. Or there is no possibly at this point. That's only if results hold, and you would think Illinois Tech with a 4-0 advantage would be able to at least hang on here for the remainder of the way and lock into that 5 seed. So Illinois Tech will take on the loser of the MSOE St. Norbert matchup tonight in the NAC quarterfinals. Remember, that's should results hold and Illinois Tech maintain and hang on to this 4-0 matchup. Rodriguez looking for Floyd. It's played over to Christian Garcia. That was a good ball by Floyd to Garcia. Garcia got knocked down by Herrera, and Illinois Tech will get the throw in. Carson Floyd throws it in quickly to Tatum Miller. Miller came in as a part of that 6-pack of reserves for the Scarlet Hawks. Tatum Miller, the sophomore out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, attended Taylor Alderdice High School. High school known for a few famous Pittsburgh musicians such as Wiz Khalifa. There is Miller again trying to make a play on the ball. Lane Mendoza. Mendoza switched up defensively, and the ball knocked out of play by Illinois Tech by Zach Skiba. Skiba out of Homer Glen, Illinois, as you'll see out of the other 2 Skibas, Nick and Jake. So Nick, Zach, and Jake, all juniors out of Homer Glen, Illinois. All have been a part of the roster all 3 seasons since they've arrived on campus. Here's a chance to go for goal for Lopez. Ball knocked down by Shemitris, and Rodriguez scoops it up. The Rockford coaching staff, once again led by Ethan Higgins in his first season here. 2 wins this season for Rockford. They've lost their last 11, but they did begin the season with a win against Olivet back on August 29th. In fact, The player that scored their most recent goal on October the 4th, Lane Mendoza, scored their very first goal of the season on August 29th against Olivet in a 1-0 victory. Rockford's other win this season, September 17th, when they defeated Concordia University of Chicago 4-3. That was a matchup where Mendoza had a pair of goals, Jacoupy added one, and Andrew Roth also added a goal. Actually traded goals in that matchup. Rockford was actually down 2-0 in that matchup against Concordia University of Chicago. We're going up 3-2. And then Concordia able to tie the match in the 68th minute before Roth, not even a full minute later, regained the Rockford lead in the 69th minute. Rockford since then has been on the losing end in all 11 outings. Here's Carson Floyd. Plays it over to Liskey. Liskey to Floyd. Floyd with a good header to open space on the pitch to Garcia. Garcia makes a move to the outside. It was crossed over. May have been deflected away by the keeper, Pritzloff. Karianis tried to go for goal there. Mendoza with a long run as the wind has really picked up here at Stuart Field. And you can see Rockford just trying to figure out which way to go with the ball here. You get another big gust of wind here at Stuart Field with Abler playing the ball over. Rockford playing towards the midfield stripe. Ball knocked away by Miller. Karianis able to switch up the Rockford defense and play the ball back. Now Zach Skiba up to Nick Skiba. Skiba over to Karianis. Now the ball played to Skiba into Floyd. Bit of a missed touch. Liskey goes for goal, and it's off the fence. Or is that off the post? The official saying that was off the fence, and it will be a Rockford goal kick. Kevin Sanchez, number 11, getting set to come on. Actually, he'll come on now for Rockford. And also, Krupa will head to the sideline as Aiden Ash, number 28, comes in for Illinois Tech. Ash, 6'2", 175 pounds, out of North Huntington, Pennsylvania, on for the first time this evening. Emilio Lopez will be the player out for Rockford as they get Kevin Sanchez on. And again, that was Krupa out for Ash. So the 6'1" junior from Bentonville, Illinois, Krupa, out for the 6'2" junior from North Huntington, Pennsylvania. Here's Pritzloff. He's played up the pitch. And now Zach Skiba has it for Illinois Tech. Scarlet Hawks just methodically chipping away here at Rockford. There's a great aggressive attack there from Herrera to tackle and win the ball. Lane Mendoza over to Stoner. It's Sanchez. He sends it outside. Sanchez sent it outside. They were trying to play it back. We got a bit of a gust of wind, and now Illinois Tech takes it away. Floyd is running on the backside, on the west side of the pitch. Let's see if Illinois Tech can make the run. Garcia goes down as Pritzloff sends it back the other way. Maybe a little too out of control there for Garcia, as now Illinois Tech regains possession. Skiba over to Shemetris. Played it back to Rodriguez, and he'll switch it over to Zach Skiba. The Rockford coaching staff wanted Lane Mendoza to apply the pressure on the ball there. They were calling for him to go up. He actually sat back a little bit there as Illinois Tech sent the ball down the pitch. Nick Skiba over to Christian Garcia. It goes to Floyd, and now Garcia on the run. That was a good ball by Floyd on the through ball to Garcia. Garcia takes the body contact, and Illinois Tech will get the corner. Scarlet Hawks with a 4-0 advantage here at Stuart Field, the regular season finale. Could be the final home game for Illinois Tech, depending on how the conference tournament shakes out. Illinois Tech scheduled to be the 5 seed should they hold on and win this match. We need a 1 seed loss in order to host moving forward. Ball sent out off of that corner from Illinois Tech and now run down by Floyd. Mendoza played it back, and then it was sent down. Rockford just having a hard time keeping that ball on the south side of the midfield stripe. Easy scoop this time for Wesley Pritzlaff, the keeper. Illinois Tech with 10 shots, Rockford with 3. 5 of the 10 on goal for Illinois Tech. Rockford still sitting at that same 3 on goal. All 3 shots, all 3 on goal, but once again, still nothing to show for it for the Regents. Illinois Tech 4 corners, Rockford 1. Here's another run for Garcia. He was out of control last time. He settles it down here. Much calmer, a calm strike that time for Garcia, but the pass goes wide, and it's taken away by Rockford. Regents with Herrera out near midfield. Herrera actually went down and managed to maintain possession. And now he spins off of Floyd. And it appeared Herrera might just do it himself there before he hit Mendoza. Mendoza tried to cross it, and it's blocked out by Garcia. Aldair Garcia will come on here, the sophomore out of Lyons Township. He'll come on for the first time. In this matchup here, he'll replace Sebastian Herrera, who just had a pretty good run there for Rockford to get them into their attacking third. Hinko on the throw-in. Hinko to Stoner. Stoner tried to send it in. Miller knocked it down and then won possession. Good job by Miller. Illinois Tech playing into the back line. This is actually probably the furthest back we've seen those 3 players on the back line for Illinois Tech in this matchup. Now Rodriguez looking to send the ball towards the midfield stripe. Rockford doing a good job of actually guarding midfield. They had all 4 players on their side of the line and easily able to win possession. Ball sent up the pitch for Rockford, but possessed by Illinois Tech. Skiba played it back, and now over to Ash. Illinois Tech playing it up, really actually patiently playing the ball up the pitch here as we approach the final 100 seconds remaining here in the first half. Bit of a miscommunication there as Garcia, not really a quality touch for Illinois Tech, allowed Mitchell Pritzlaff to win possession. And then Pritzlaff on his pass from Mendoza, taken away by Garcia. Now here comes Floyd with Garcia on the outside for support, and that's who he goes to. Working against Hinko is Garcia. Skiba to Floyd and offside against Illinois Tech. Good job by the Scarlet Hawks putting pressure on that Rockford back line, getting into that attacking third, but offside as the ball went outside to Floyd. Under a minute remaining here in the first half. Again, coming up at halftime, we'll recap our first half goals here from Illinois Tech. We'll go over our first half stats and also scores, our NAC scoreboard, scores from around the NAC on both men's and women's sides of things here. All that and more coming up here at halftime. Scarlet Hawks sending the ball down the pitch. It's Liskey on the run, and that ball sent well out of play by Bennett Abler. Carter Liskey, the recipient of the throw-in. Ball taken away by Rockford. Final 15 seconds. Let's see if the Regents can try to make a strike with Gutierrez sort of almost tripping over the ball. Gutierrez plays it up the pitch. Demetrius knocks it down, and that will take us to halftime here at Stuart Field, where the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks are thoroughly in control against the Rockford Regents. It's 4-0 at halftime. Scarlet Hawks with the lead. We'll go over our first half and then go over our next scoreboard. All of that coming up at halftime. We'll be back with more here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live after this break. Halftime here at Stuart Field in Chicago, where the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks have a 4-0 advantage over the Rockford Regents here at Stuart Field in this NCAA Division III men's soccer regular season finale for the Scarlet Hawks and the Regents. We'll go over our first half stats between these two teams as we just got the call here that Illinois Tech here in Stuart Field, Illinois Tech women's volleyball with a 3-2 win over Benedictine as they get the win just across the way over at the Keating Sports Center. So a lot of athletics going on here at Illinois Tech, including our matchup where Illinois Tech leads at 4-0 here at halftime. Scarlet Hawks with 10 shots in comparison to 3 for Rockford. All 3 for Rockford on goal. 5 of the 10 on goal for Illinois Tech. Illinois Tech also with 4 corners. Rockford with 1. 4 fouls against Rockford. 2 against Illinois Tech, and 3 offside calls, all against Illinois Tech to this point of the matchup. The 4 goals for Illinois Tech scored by Tomas Rebellato in the 3rd minute. Cal Graham assisted by Rebellato in the 14th minute. Cal Graham again assisted by Paul Balea in the 19th minute. And then Mateo Sakaira unassisted in the 20th minute. For Illinois Tech, this matchup, it's simple. Win and you're in as the number 5 seed in the NAC men's conference tournament. In fact, there's plenty of matchups going on as we speak at the moment, including matchups that will determine who Illinois Tech could potentially play in the 4-5 matchup in the NAC conference tournament. Earlier today, Dominican with a 4-0 win over Concordia University of Chicago. They put the pressure on Illinois Tech to have to win this matchup, meaning an Illinois Tech loss would put the Scarlet Hawks in the 6th seed in the NAC conference standings going into the conference tournament. But Illinois Tech with the lead here looks like they're going to be pretty secure into that number 5 seed. So if Illinois Tech's going to be the 5 seed, who will they play in the 4-5 matchup? Well, that'll be determined between MSOE and St. Norbert. Right now they are at halftime. That matchup is scoreless as we speak. So Illinois Tech going to have to keep a bit of a side eye on that matchup as well to see who they'll possibly meet in the 4-5 matchup. MSOE with 4 shots, 2 on goal. St. Norbert just 1, as that matchup will continue going on in the second half simultaneously as we will also be in action here at Stuart Field. The last spot in the conference tournament to be decided tonight will be the 8th seed. Marion and Concordia University of Wisconsin are going head-to-head in a winner-take-all matchup. Winner take the 8th seed. And that matchup, much like the other one, scoreless at halftime. Concordia University, Wisconsin, and Marion both looking to score, with Concordia University of Wisconsin with 7 shots, 4 on goal. Meanwhile, Marion with 6, 1 on goal as that match continues to go along. Edgewood with a 1-0 advantage over Wisconsin Lutheran at halftime. Edgewood, of course, slated to be the top overall seed in the on the men's side of the conference tournament. Meanwhile, the number 2 team in the conference tournament will be Aurora. They're currently beginning their second half against Benedictine. That matchup currently tied at 1, with Aurora getting a goal in the first half, scored by Brandon Dolzal. Meanwhile, Benedictine's lone goal scored by Sam Camacho. Those two teams actually getting the second half underway right now as we speak. Elsewhere, Lakeland with a 2-1 advantage over Ripon in a non-conference matchup. And that actually rounds out what's going on at the moment. So it's worth watching that Concordia University of Wisconsin and Marion, that matchup for the 8th seed, scoreless at halftime. Meanwhile, MSOE and St. Norbert, the matchup to decide who Illinois Tech will face in the potential 4-5 matchup, that's still to be decided as well in a scoreless battle. Also worth mentioning that the winner of that MSOE St. Norbert matchup will likely face Dominican, as if Illinois Tech holds on here. Remember, Illinois Tech will be the 5 seed, and they'll take on the loser of the MSOE St. Norbert matchup. Meanwhile, Dominican will take on the 3 seed in the 3-6 matchup. Aurora and Benedictine in the 2-7, they are locked in. So, matter of fact, not only are they going head-to-head right now, they're slated to meet in the first round of the conference tournament, Aurora versus Benedictine. So they'll likely meet again in round 1 on Saturday after meeting here on this Wednesday evening. Edgewood is locked into the 1 seed. They're waiting to see what's going on with Marion and Concordia University of Wisconsin. Illinois Tech just waiting for the clock to run out here so they can secure the 5 seed. And then MSOE St. Norbert will determine who will face Illinois Tech and who will face Dominican. On the women's side of things, Illinois Tech, well, they're well ahead of the pack. They're the number 1 overall seed in the NAC women's side of things in the conference tournament. 16-1-1, 12-0 in conference play. They've outscored opponents 81-8 this season, with Rockford being the most recent victim, a 17-0 defeat today, as the Scarlet Hawks got 4 goals out of reserve Taylor Hernandez to lead the way to their big win, and now Illinois Tech will await. They will wait to find out to see who they will play in the first round of the NAC Women's Conference Tournament. Aurora and St. Norbert are the 2 teams slated to be in that spot. And right now, St. Norbert, on the women's side, they trail 1-0 going into halftime against MSOE. MSOE with a goal from Elizabeth Kuhn to lead the way as that match is getting ready to get underway in second half action. Earlier today, Dominican on the women's side with a 2-1 win over Concordia University of Chicago. Mia Dozen with both of those goals for the Stars. The Falcons of Concordia University of Wisconsin, they beat Marion on the women's side 6-1 earlier today. And then still to come as we speak, Wisconsin Lutheran and Edgewood second half action. They are also scoreless going into the second half. Aurora with a 2-0 advantage over Benedictine as well on the women's side. On the women's standings as we speak, Illinois Tech, we know they'll be the number 1 seed. MSOE and Edgewood are slated to be 2 and 3, with Dominican as the 4 and Concordia University of Wisconsin as the 5. Marion is slated to be in 6th. Wisconsin Lutheran is slated to be in 7th. And then Aurora and St. Norbert are battling for that 8th and final spot, with Aurora currently grabbing it at the moment, leading 2-0 over Benedictine, and St. Norbert trailing 1-0 at the hands of MSOE. So plenty of NAC soccer action going on as we get ready to head into the NAC conference tournament on both the women's and men's side of the conference. Illinois Tech with a 4-0 advantage here in this men's matchup against Rockford, looking to lock up that number 5 seed in the conference standings. We know that Illinois Tech will be number 1 on the women's side. Let's see if the Illinois Tech can lock up number 5 here on the men's side. Those matchups slated to be Saturday and Sunday, if needed, right here at Stuart Field. We know the women's team will host for sure. That matchup scheduled for Saturday with time to be announced. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, second half action to wrap up the 2025 NAC men's regular season. All that and more here from Stuart Field on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network after this. Chris Rouse here on the call at Stuart Field. The Rockford Regents kicking off the second half, and we're underway here at Stuart Field. Illinois Tech with a 4-0 advantage over the visiting Rockford Regents. Illinois Tech record of 9-5-3, 6-3-2 in conference play. Meanwhile, Illinois Tech changing goalkeepers here in the second half. Colin Thomas in the north net now for Illinois Tech. Rockford will maintain with Wesley Pritzloff, the starting keeper, in the south net. So now Illinois Tech will be going right to left on your screen. Rockford headed the opposite direction, left to right, towards the north net. Illinois Tech off to a fast start. It was Tomas Rebellato, his 5th goal of the season in the 3rd minute of the matchup. Gave Illinois Tech the 1-0 advantage as he found the back of the net. Cal Graham added goals 8 and 9 for himself on the season in minutes 14 and 19 respectfully. And then Mateo Sakairo with his team leading 13th goal scored in the 20th minute. Sakairo with a touch there, picked up defensively as he was marked by Watwa. And now picked up by Jakupi. Illinois Tech. We talk about how Illinois Tech in these past few seasons, how they've grown. I think that's one of the more consistent storylines on the pitch. The growth of both soccer programs under Roshane Ellison, the long-term growth, and then the short-term growth here under Marlon McKenzie on the men's side. And you look at this Illinois Tech team, definitely the top team in the NAC for the 3rd straight season. I'm sure Roshane Ellison is hoping that they can finish the job for a 2nd straight year in terms of going to the NCAA tournament by way of winning the NAC conference tournament. But I'm sure Marlon McKenzie would love to make his team a threat as well. Sakaira! Mateo Sakaira adding on to his great season here on the near south side of Chicago. That's his 14th of the season. So Graham credited with the assist. So Graham, after receiving a couple of helpers, he helped Sakaira find the back of the net, and Illinois Tech extends their advantage out to 5-0. The Mateo Magic strikes in both nets today here for Illinois Tech. Goal in the 20th minute in the first half. And now a goal here in the 48th minute. Free kick for Rockford. That's actually a pretty favorable spot. It's dead center. But it's going to need some pretty good length and touch for someone to strike for the goal. I thought Jacoupy was going to go line up near the post. Instead, I think he was just throwing a brace to the side. Pair of players with a brace for Illinois Tech, Sakaira and Graham. Rockford goes outside. They try to go in. It's deflected away. And it'll lead to a Rockford corner. It was Lane Mendoza with the first goal and the most recent goal of the season for Rockford. Meanwhile, on the Illinois Tech side, back when they scored their first goal back on August 29th, it was actually Adam Lazarowicz to get them going. Tomas Revelado had the second goal of the season in the 51st minute back on August the 29th. And so it's fitting that Revelado, speaking of Revelado, possesses the ball here, but he also scored the first goal of the final matchup here. He's dispossessed by Abler, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. Tomas Revelado, the junior out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, 5'9", 140 pounds. His goal earlier in the third minute was his 5th of the season.
They changed the half to the second half.
Ball played over by Rockford. And here's Wadwa in the middle of the pitch. Herrera dispossessed. He was also surrounded by a trio of Scarlet Hawks. Now here's Sakaira. And the ball goes into the net. And the keeper comes up with it here. Does Pritzlaff. Gutierrez. Over to Wadwa, middle of the pitch. Wadwa right at the top of the crown, meaning the highest point of the field. Of course, most football fields and soccer pitches have the crown. More so for drainage of the field for rain. But you can sort of see Wadwa. He was literally right on the middle top, right on the crown, which is in the dead center of the pitch. Here's Stoner. Taken away by Illinois Tech. In the middle of the pitch. They play it back to Sakaira. Sakaira strikes for goal. It was mishandled down low in front of the net. Another chance for Illinois Tech to try to turn and go with Balea. Good help defense by Rockford's back line. And it'll lead to an Illinois Tech corner. That was a great recovery by that back line for the Regents. It appeared Illinois Tech was going to get their 6th goal there, but Rockford able to get a couple of players to collapse on the net. Short corner taken by the Scarlet Hawks. And the officials are going to say that Illinois Tech didn't take that ball far enough into the corner. They were on the byline, not the corner. And so now that takes away the short corner there for Illinois Tech. So now Paul Balea will take it himself. So Balea will send Revelado in, and now Balea sends it in. A header towards the net. Ball knocked down, a chance to go for goal again. That was Theo Balea that had the last chance for Illinois Tech before it was taken away by Lopez. Lopez charging towards the west side of the pitch and out of play forced by Ben Mill. Good job by Mill, just cutting off the field for Lopez. Hippolito charging the throw in here for Illinois Tech. Hippolito looking for somewhere to go with the ball. He actually just threw it long. That one's going to come right to us here at the broadcast location. And out of play for a Scarlet Hawk throw with Hippolito again. The header for Sakira sets up Rebellato. Rebellato working against Roth in the corner. Rebellato split a pair of defenders for Rockford before he had the ball deflected away to Lopez. Oh, Lopez tried to play it back in a miscommunication between 33 and 20 as Lopez was looking for Gutierrez. Sakira knocked out of play by Roth. You hear the Rockford coaching staff saying keep him wide. Rockford did do that with Sakira, but Illinois Tech on the throw. Sakira goes down. A lot of fighting on that byline between the two teams. Sakira now tackled off the ball, and Rockford wins possession. Krupa had his jersey pulled by Jacopi. And now Rockford wins possession with Herrera. Herrera outside to Lopez. Lopez and Herrera both had quality runs for Rockford. But as you can tell by the 5-0 score, nothing doing for the Regents, and now a foul. Remember, this is a Rockford team record of 2-14-1. 1-10 in conference play. That one win back on September 17th when they beat Concordia University of Chicago. The only other win opened the season back on August 29th when they beat Olivet College. Since September 17th, 11 straight losses for Rockford. And they've been shut out in their last 6 matches, with their most recent goal occurring back on October 14th. October the 4th, scored by Lane Mendoza. That October the 4th was also the same day Illinois Tech played Marion to a 1-1 tie right here at Stuart Field. That was a matchup where Illinois Tech was up 1-0, had a chance to go up 2-0. And it was just Christian Garcia had a chance to extend the advantage, hit the post. And then Marion later on a counterattack scored and drew even. Long ball, and now an easy scoop for Thomas. Rockford sent that ball maybe about 10 yards wide of the net, and then they passed it in. And Thomas was able to pretty much make the play off the rebound. Looking at David Rodriguez, the starting keeper for Illinois Tech. He's walking around on the sideline. His day pretty much over here with Thomas getting the second half start. And now Dominic Krupa up to Mateo Sakira. Ball knocked away by Andrew Roth. Sebastian Herrera. Ball won by Gutierrez. Hippolito to Sakira. Illinois Tech just looking to play it up the pitch with Skiba. And now Skiba sends it long. Deflected away by Rockford. Rockford's had Kevin Sanchez ready to come in for quite some time. He's been at the sideline maybe about the last 5 minutes. And now Illinois Tech in possession. Scarlet Hawks up 5-0 here in the second half. 56th minute getting ready to begin here. It's Tomas Rebellato with a goal in the 3rd minute. Cal Graham with goals in the 14th and 19th minute. And then Mateo Sakira with goals in the 20th and 48th minute. That's how Illinois Tech has gotten out to this 5-0 advantage. 3 of those 5 assisted. Graham assisted by Rebellato and Paul Balea. And then Sakira assisted by Cal Graham. Share the sugar, spread the wealth. Here's Rebellato. Rebellato sends it in. He sends it right to the keeper, Pritzlaff, for the save. Ball out near midfield. Rockford's had some pretty good touches. They've had some pretty good runs, but not really anything that has put pressure on Illinois Tech's keepers in this matchup. Remember, at halftime, Rockford had 3 shots, all on goal. They still sit at that total. So now Kevin Sanchez finally will come on the pitch here. He's been waiting for quite some time. And he'll replace Omar Gutierrez. Ben Mill. Hippolito, nice pass attempt to Mel. Rebolado, quick touch. Over to Balea. Theo Balea. Pushed off the pitch there. We got a player down. You got a player down behind the play. As now Sebastian Herrera, the sophomore, the homegrown sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois, is down. Well, homegrown for Illinois Tech, he goes to Rockford. But now Herrera down on the pitch being tended to here by Mika Sanchez along with Rayon Jacoupy, his teammate. Bit of a water break here as the training staff attends to Herrera. Mika Sanchez, of course, the lead athletic trainer for all Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawk athletic events. Over here on the pitch with us for this one, of course, we have the volleyball match going on as well. And as we watch Herrera, we hope there's nothing too serious here with Sebastian Herrera. Never want to see that. Never want to see any injuries, especially not in the final game of the season. You really just want to see everyone get off the pitch under their own power and be able to reminisce on what a great season they had. As now Herrera does come to his feet, helped by the Rockford coaching staff and by Mika Sanchez. And so now Sebastian Herrera, once again, I mentioned how he's had a couple of pretty good runs in this matchup. But he'll head to the sideline, and now Aldair Garcia will come in to replace Herrera. As Illinois Tech. As now Illinois Tech 5-0 advantage. As action getting ready to resume here in the 57th minute. And Illinois Tech had the ball just outside of the attacking third. And so now the Scarlet Hawks, with Theo Balea, the first-year player out of Peoria, will resume action. Hippolito out of Plainfield, Illinois. Plays it up to Theo Balea. Sakaira. Almost dispossessed of the ball. Sakaira with a pair of goals in this matchup to get him to 14 on the season. That's a 30-point season for Sakaira. Remember, goals count as 2. So 28. And then, of course, he has the 2 assists to get him to 30. Rebolado was out over the touchline. Couldn't quite keep the ball in. Remember, he can be out as long as the ball is in. But I think when he made a long back kick there, the ball went out. And that'll be in to Rockford. Ball played up the pitch by the Regents with Wadwa. For this Rockford team, once again, only 2 wins. And the season will conclude without them scoring within the final 25 days of the month of October. Of course, their final goal, of course, occurred on October 4th. They have 32 minutes and some change to add at least 1 more before the 2025 season for the Rockford Regents comes to an end. Before Rockford, just a rough go of it being shut out as much as they were in those last 6 matches. When you look at Rockford, when you look at the Rockford total, just some huge blowouts. 6-0 MSOE on Saturday, 9-0 October 22nd, 6-0 October 17th, 3-0 October 15th, 2-0 October 11th, and 3-0 October 8th. So this has been a team that at one point in the season or one point in this month, they were in some of those matches. Here's a chance to go for goal as Thomas takes away a pass attempt for Lopez. But early on, at that point of the season where the losing streak started to get tough, Rockford, they lost 4-1 to Dominican, 5-0 to Marion, 3-0 to St. Norbert. This is a team that's lost 11 straight matches, but hasn't been able to even get on the board in their last 6. And you just wonder And you wonder this also not just with Rockford, with some of the other teams, not just on the men's side either, with on the women's side as well. After a season where you don't have a lot of wins, you don't have a lot of offensive accolades, you almost go into the offseason with a clean slate. Let's try to rebuild the program. Now Graham, looking for the hat trick, is cleared out by Rockford. It's like, let's try to rebuild the program from within. And this is where you really just try to learn everything you can. You try to get these veterans or the players that you have on the team that you know will be back next year, try to get them in position to teach the next generation of Rockford Regents. But let's see if Rockford, let's see how they try to come out next. We'll see how they try to come out next season, ideally in what will be Ethan Higgins' second season. We've played 1 full hour here at Stuart Field, and Illinois Tech with a 5-0 advantage over the Rockford Regents. If you're just joining us, I'm Chris Rouse here on the call. Illinois Tech with a win tonight will clinch the number 5 seed in the NAC Conference Tournament. Dominican won 4-0 earlier over Concordia University of Chicago. It put the pressure on Illinois Tech to win this match to be the 5 seed. And Illinois Tech has responded with a 5-0 advantage. Tomas Rebellado's goal in the 3rd minute, his 5th of the season, got the Scarlet Hawks started. Cal Graham with goals in the 14th and 19th minute for goals 8 and 9 of the season for him. Made it 3-0 Illinois Tech. And then Mateo Sakira with a pair of goals. Goals 13 and 14, scored in the 20th and 48th minute. Allowed Illinois Tech to go up 5-0. Wadwa. Switch pass. Switch pass over to Sanchez. Sanchez gave it up to Lopez. And now the ball goes high into the air with Krupa closing in on it. A miss hit there from Watson. And now Watson still in possession here. And he gives it up to Balea, who hits Mill. Good job by Illinois Tech. Sakira tried to play the ball down the pitch, and now Roth just sends it well into that corner. That'll be the southwest corner for a Scarlet Hawk throw. Piros Shemitris, number 31, on for the Scarlet Hawks. He'll replace Dominic Krupa. We saw Krupa come out in the first half for Aiden Ash. Krupa now will come out here for Shemitris in the final 28 minutes. Ball knocked away by Rockford. A chance to go for goal for Watson. That one high off the south fence here at Stuart Field for a goal kick. Illinois Tech, remember, if they win, they'll lock in the 5 seed, but they don't know who they'll play. They'll take on the loser of the MSOE St. Norbert matchup, and then Dominican, who will be the 6th seed, will take on the winner. The problem right now, scoreless in the 66th minute between St. Norbert and MSOE as we speak. MSOE 9 shots, 2 on goal. St. Norbert 3, 1 on goal there. And as it stands at the moment, Illinois Tech, we know MSOE, if that match ends in a tie, MSOE will be the 3 seed, and St. Norbert will be the 4 seed. So as results hold right now in a scoreless matchup between MSOE and St. Norbert, MSOE Dominican will be the 3-6 matchup, and Illinois Tech will see St. Norbert in what will be the 4-5. Scarlet Hawks with another corner here. They send, actually, basically, they've got about all of their forwards in the net, and that's just a high kick well over everyone. That ball is going to go into the southwest corner, and it will be another, actually, I thought it was going to be another corner. It'll be a Rockford throw in here. And now the Regents with a chance to play it up the pitch. Rockford still sitting on those same 3 shots they had at halftime. Three shots all on goal for the Regents. Lopez with a pair of shots, and then, of course, Mendoza with the other one. Illinois Tech, 16 shots, 9 on goal. Scarlet Hawks, 7 corners in comparison to 2 from Rockford. 5 fouls against Rockford, 4 against Illinois, which means against Illinois Tech, which means the Scarlet Hawks actually lead that battle with the 1 fewer foul. And then as I say that, Graham will even it out here at 5 apiece. 4 offside calls in the match, all against Illinois Tech. Rockford with Wadwa in possession of the ball, and that's just another miscommunication between Wadwa and Stoner. We've seen that quite a bit between those midfielders for Rockford. Whether it be players falling down, miscommunications, or just tough passes. It's been a rough evening for the Regents in terms of passing, really on those connect passes, what you would call those. Just trying to connect their separate lines, that back line of the midfielders. It's a fun time. Love this time of year. Of course, sports equinox time. That was a big deal yesterday. The sports equinox where we had that was Monday where we had the World Series, the NBA regular season, the NHL regular season, and of course, Monday Night Football. But don't forget about soccer. Of course, in collegiate soccer, this is when we start getting down to tournament time. Conference tournaments beginning this weekend at the D3 level. And, of course, in the NAC, we know Illinois Tech will be the #1 overall seed on the women's side. They'll be the 5 seed on the men's side. They try to add to their lead with another goal. Theo Balea adding to the Scarlet Hawks advantage. It's 6-0 Scarlet Hawks. So Theo Balea here in the 66th minute gives Illinois Tech a 6-0 advantage. And the Scarlet Hawks doing everything they can to secure that 5th seed in the NAC conference standings as they extend it to 6-0. That's the first goal of the season for Theo Balea. And now Illinois Tech up 6-0. Mateo Sakira. Picked up by Charles Obeezy, number 29, who just came on for the first time for Rockford. And there's Obeezy, who actually picked up that foul as he knocks Sakira down. So Scarlet Hawks 6-0 here with Rebellato, Graham twice, Sakira twice, and now Theo Balea representing the 6 goals for Illinois Tech. Goals in the 3rd, 14th, 19th, 20th, 48th, and 66th minute for the Scarlet Hawks. And right now with a 6-0 advantage, another rough outing for the Rockford Regents. On the other side, there's a chance to go for goal. That's off the south fence. Rockford in their most recent outing, 6-0 loss Saturday at the hands of MSOE. That follows a 9-0 loss to Aurora and then a 6-0 loss to Edgewood. So in each of their final 4 matches of the season, Rockford has allowed at least 6 goals. Lopez tries to play it over to Garcia. For Rockford at this point of the season, 13 goals scored, 64 allowed, with Illinois Tech adding the last 6. So they came in with only 58 allowed prior to the 6 scored by Rebellato, Graham twice, Sakira twice, and then Theo Balea. Once again, one of the few times where Rockford's back line has been out near midfield. Dangerous switch pass. That pass is very flat, actually, trying to switch it to Sanchez. And once again, that's one of those things where when you see it on the crown of the field, you can see it's not going in any direction. Usually when you pass to the sideline, the ball sort of takes a bit of a divot or dip into the pitch. That ball was a straight line across. Easy takeaway for Mill. Also, no lead in either direction on that pass allowed Mill to catch up and win possession. Mill will throw it in. Oh, nice turn by Sakira. Sakira with 4 purple jerseys around him. He still dribbles to the middle of the pitch. He's taken down in the penalty area. Or is he in or is he just outside? Let's see if they give him the PK. And they are going to give Illinois Tech the PK. It'll be Sakira. Well, Mateo Sakira already has 2 goals in the matchup, 14 on the season. He's 2 for 2 on PK attempts. Sakira versus Pritzlav. Here's the PK. And Mateo Sakira adding to the Scarlet Hawk advantage. A hat trick for Mateo Sakira. 7-0 Scarlet Hawks.
Illinois Tech goal on the penalty kick scored by number 2, Mateo Sakira, his third of the match.
A hat trick and goal number 15 on the season from Mateo Sakira here in the regular season finale. His third PK goal of the season. And Illinois Tech now leads it 7-0 with a 69th minute goal. Emilio Lopez had it briefly, and it was taken away by Jake Skiba. Here's Ben Mill. Mill plays it back to Hippolito, and now Illinois Tech goes over to Shemetris. Marlon McKenzie doing a great job in his second season. Illinois Tech 20 minutes from their 10th win of the season. There's a long ball. Sakira out in front of the keeper, Pritzlav, but Pritzlav gets there. Ball sent down. Shemetris out in front. Thomas is going to get to the ball first. He sends that one right towards our broadcast location over the head of Ben Mail out of play. Rockford quick throw in. Obeezy plays it back to Roth, and now over to Sanchez. Rockford really just trying to get another strike on the net here at this point. Illinois Tech adding 3 goals in the second half with Sakira, Balea, and Sakira again on the PK. There's a long lead. Here's a long run this time for A.J. Kumar, the freshman out of Peoria, Arizona, who came in as a reserve for Illinois Tech. Kumar switches one in. He's looking for Sakira. Ben Mill might strike for goal. He does strike for goal. It's just wide left of the net. You can see on that first touch, Mill was thinking goal all the way. He knocked it down. He sized it up, but just wide left. And it leads to the goal kick. Talked about some of the other matches going on around the conference. Edgewood, the top overall seed, looking to see who they'll play in the 8 seed match. Who'll be the 8 seed between Concordia, University of Wisconsin, and Marion. Well, that matchup also still in a scoreless tie. Marion actually has the tiebreaker with a win or a tie, but then they would need a Wisconsin Lutheran loss. And meanwhile, Concordia, University of Wisconsin, they need a win and a Wisconsin Lutheran loss or tie. And then Wisconsin Lutheran needs a win and a Concordia University Wisconsin win or tie. Well, Wisconsin Lutheran unable to handle their own end of the bargain at the moment as they're trailing 1-0 in the 76th minute. So Wisconsin Lutheran season down to their final 14 minutes. Same for Marion and Concordia University of Wisconsin, who currently are in a tie as well with their final 14 minutes. So Marion actually would be the 8th seed if all results hold and we get scoreless ties across the board. Emilio Lopez down on the pitch here for Rockford, as Samuel Frisch will be the player, number 18, to come in to replace the injured Emilio Lopez, who goes down. Andrew Roth. Actually, I thought he was going to come off the pitch here, but I heard the coaches say Lopez was going to be the player out. And Lopez helped to his feet by a trio of teammates of Jurgensen, Garcia, and Stoner. Scarlet Hawk Reserve with Lorenzo Fideli, the junior out of North Miami, Florida, coming on. Fideli attended Alonzo and Tracy Morning Senior High School in Miami. And now here is Sakira in possession for Illinois Tech. Sakira goes for goal, but he missed it just wide right of the net. Wadwa back out there now for Rockford. And Wadwa will replace Garcia. Wesley Pritzloff sends it down the pitch. He gets Obeezy on the first touch. Obeezy able to take possession off the mistouch from Troy Siebert from Illinois Tech, number 32. Stoner had a chance to play it to the outside. Instead, he dribbled to the middle of the pitch, sends it down, and Shemetris takes it away for Illinois Tech. Ball sent up the pitch, possessed by Frisch, who just came on for the first time. He plays it back to his keeper. Bit of a score update elsewhere around the NAC. In the 77th minute, St. Norbert has taken the lead over MSOE. So it was a goal by Joe Lukac to give St. Norbert the 1-0 advantage. So in the 77th minute, St. Norbert has taken the lead over MSOE. And right now, they would be the 3 seed to take on Dominican. And we could be looking at a MSOE Illinois Tech rematch in the 4-5 matchup. Remember, Illinois Tech defeated MSOE right here at Stuart Field, October the 18th. Mateo Sakaira's goal in the 84th minute. The difference that Saturday here in Chicago. But with the current results, Illinois Tech up 7-0 and St. Norbert up 1-0. Illinois Tech and MSOE could be prepared to meet in the quarterfinals on another Saturday, this coming Saturday. Here's Obeezy. Plays it outside to Stoner. Ball goes out of play. And it will be another Illinois Tech throw-in. I mentioned earlier Illinois Tech on the women's side with a 17-0 win over Rockford to finish off their regular season schedule. We know they'll be the number 1 overall seed. And now the Scarlet Hawks add another goal. Illinois Tech continuing to add on. And Sakaira with his 4th of the match makes it 8-0 Scarlet Hawks. Unassisted goal for Sakaira. He had a PK earlier. This one on the field. His 16th goal of the season, 4th of the match in Illinois Tech. Just continuing to add on here. A 75th minute goal this time for Sakaira. So Illinois Tech definitely adding on to their advantage here. The first-year player out of San Jose, Costa Rica, very well could be the top rookie in the NAC this season for Illinois Tech. Very, very easily a first-team all-conference pick, you would think, here for Illinois Tech, as the Mateo Magic has made its way to the near south side of Chicago. And here he is, Mateo Sakaira again. Already 4 goals. He goes right at that back line. Sakaira looking for his 5th. Oh, he just whiffed on the shot attempt there. He sent the entire Scarlet Hawks sideline into a frenzy. And he's even smiling himself. I think Mateo realized that was one that maybe he could have added on to the highlight reel. But he came away with nothing but air. Here's Kumar. Kumar knocks it down and repossesses the ball for Illinois Tech. And now he's surrounded by a number of Rockford Regions, 3 purple jerseys. Stoner, the intended target of the pass. Instead, Illinois Tech takes it away. And the battle of the 21s is Stoner and Fideli both go down. I mentioned Fideli out of Alonzo and Tracy Morning Senior High School in Miami. I was going to say, that makes me feel old. I actually remember when Alonzo Mourning was playing basketball in Miami. And I'm not that old of a guy myself, as now we've got a whistle behind the play with Rockford. Rockford has a player down behind the pitch. So if you are joining us here, once again, this is the season finale for Illinois Tech men's soccer in the regular season. They will go to the conference tournament. They have an 8-0 advantage, so they've just about done all but secure the number 5 seed in the NAC conference tournament. They wait to find out who they will see in the 4-5 matchup. At the moment, it appears Illinois Tech will see MSOE. MSOE trailing 1-0 in the 80th minute at the hands of St. Norbert. And, of course, on the women's side, we know Illinois Tech will be the number 1 overall seed in the conference tournament, with the Scarlet Hawks going 16-1-1, 12-0 in conference play. The Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks women's team outscoring opponents 81-8 this season. And they know they'll see either Aurora or St. Norbert in the first round of the conference tournament. And on the women's side of things for St. Norbert, we know St. Norbert currently winning on the men's side, but on the women's side, it's MSOE with a 1-0 lead over St. Norbert, and Aurora leading against Benedictine. They were up 2-0 at halftime, still up 2-0 in the 82nd minute. So as it stands, we know as it stands right now, should results hold all over the board, Illinois Tech here on the men's side will be the 5 seed, and they will take on the 4 seed MSOE. That's if St. Norbert on the men's side hangs on. And then if Aurora hangs on the women's side and St. Norbert can't get that equalizer, Illinois Tech will see Aurora on the women's side. Sakira going for goal again, and he actually took down one of the defenders going for the ball, and the foul. Foul will go against the Scarlet Hawks. Scarlet Hawks have 4 players set to check in on the next stoppage. A number of them came in the first half, including Ash, Miller, and, of course, Skiba. Zach Skiba to be exact. Now the ball sent down for Rockford. Played to the outside. Roth with a bit of a touch that he tried to play it inside. The touch went outside. Obizi plays it to the middle of the pitch. Chance to go for goal for Rockford is wide left of the net for Jackson Martindale, the sophomore player out of Stillman Valley, Illinois. First time we've called his name this evening. We just about named all of the players that are coming back in for Illinois Tech. Nick Skiba, Zach Skiba, Tatum Miller, and Aiden Ash all in for Illinois Tech. They replaced Theo Balea, who scored back in the 66th minute for Illinois Tech to make it a 6-0 advantage. Ben Mill also came off the pitch, along with Matthew Watson and Matthew Hippolito. And inside the final 15 minutes here at Stuart Field, Coach Marlon McKenzie pretty much getting these guys off the pitch as they get ready for their NAC conference tournament date, likely scheduled for Saturday and likely scheduled for a first-round matchup with MSOE. Try to keep you up to date on those matches elsewhere and what they mean for Illinois Tech on both the women's and men's side of soccer here in the NAC conference tournament. Rockford in possession here as the ball knocked into the air by Fideli. Ball played to Miller. Miller out here in front of the broadcast location. And now the ball sent to the middle of the pitch. Kumar over to Fideli. Fideli tried to send it in. It's deflected off the heads of one of the Rockford players. It'll lead to a Scarlet Hawk corner. It was Joe Lucock, assisted by Will Swissionis in the 70th minute for St. Norbert. They lead it 1-0 over MSOE. If that result holds, MSOE will be the 4 seed, and they will host Illinois Tech in the first-round matchup in the quarterfinals. Chance to go for goal here, as now Shemitris had the ball knocked away. On the women's side, Aurora holding tough in their matchup, leading 2-0 over Benedictine. That match finally into the final 4 minutes, where if Aurora holds strong and if MSOE holds strong on the women's side, we know it will be Illinois Tech versus Aurora in the 1-8 matchup on the women's side. And what a season for Coach Roshane Ellison in the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks on the women's side, outscoring opponents 81-8. Ball sent in, and now sent. Actually, Rockford tried to send it out instead. It hit Fideli in the back, and now an easy catch this time by Pritzloff. But on the women's side, Illinois Tech 81 goals, 8 allowed. 5 of those 8 were scored on the same Monday against the University of Chicago. That was a 5-1 loss at the beginning of the month. The other 3 goals, 2 scored by Hope and 1 scored by Dominican. Other than that, Illinois Tech, they've only allowed 1 goal in conference play on the women's side this season. And Coach Roshane Ellison looking to make it back-to-back NAC Women's Conference Tournament Championships and trips to the NCAA Tournament. Head coach Marlon McKenzie, quite the leap for this Scarlet Hawk team. 10 wins this season. Ball sent in here as Thomas gets the scoop. But Marlon McKenzie in his second full season here with Illinois Tech. You get the Scarlet Hawks to 10 wins. They'll win against Rockford for the 8th time all time. So they'll go 8-0-1. Once again, that's assuming results will hold here. Sakaira to the net and another goal! Mateo Sakaira with his 5th of the match. 9-0 Scarlet Hawks. Sakaira now sitting at 17 goals scored on the season. He scored 5 in this matchup. And with his most recent goal here in the 82nd minute, he's made it 9-0 Scarlet Hawks. If you're just joining us, it was Tomas Rebellato 3 minutes in, made it 1-0 Scarlet Hawks. Kyle Graham assisted by Rebellato in the 14th minute, made it 2-0. Graham again in the 19th minute, assisted by Paul Balea, made it 3-0. Mateo Sakaira in the 20th minute made it 4-0. Sakaira again in the 48th minute, assisted by Graham, made it 5-0. Theo Balea in the 66th minute made it 6-0. A Sakaira PK in the 69th minute made it 7-0. And then goals by Sakaira in the 75th and 82nd minute got us to 8 and 9-0 respectively. 9-0 respectively, with Sakaira scoring 5 of the goals. Enrique Alvarado had it knocked down by Wildwood. First time we've seen Alvarado, who just came in on that stoppage. New keeper into the matchup for Illinois Tech as Thomas came out following the goal. And you can see Illinois Tech with a bit of a miscommunication as Akash Nagara-Hali played that ball at the pitch. Obizi sends it in and goes out of play over the byline. Kevin Sanchez will come in for Rockford. He'll replace Omar Gutierrez, who's, you can see him sort of hobbling off. Remember, he had that leg checked earlier. And he'll come off the pitch here. Final 7.5 minutes to be played at Stuart Field. Well, Marlon McKenzie and the Scarlet Hawks, they won 9 last season. They're sitting at 9 at the moment with 7.5 minutes remaining. Scarlet Hawks well on their way to 10. And now they'll go on to the NAC Conference Tournament. Here's Hippolito. He plays it back. Scarlet Hawks looking for one more goal. That went over the crossbar on the attempt from Dylan Thomas. Dylan Thomas from Austin, Texas, the freshman, taking the shot on the south side of the pitch there. Sends it just a little too high over the crossbar. Kumar on the corner. Illinois Tech not really charging the front or back post as they normally do on the corners. Miller goes for goal. Oh, what a save by Pritzloff. Pritzloff able to get down there to keep Illinois Tech from getting into double digits on the scorebook. And a foul out near midfield to go against the Scarlet Hawks. Scarlet Hawks 9-0 advantage. 26 shots for Illinois Tech to 4 from Rockford. 16 of the 26 on goal for Illinois Tech. Ball sent long. Nagara Holly makes the play, and he takes the contact from Roth. Roth was charging in, but it appeared to be incidental. He was really just trying to stop on the dime as Nagara Holly caught that ball off the hop. So official stats, 27 shots for Illinois Tech, 17 on goal, 4 for Rockford, 3 on goal for the Regents. Illinois Tech, 10 corners, Rockford only 2. Fouls, 7 apiece. And offside calls, 5 against Illinois Tech, all of them against Illinois Tech. Rockford yet to be called for one here in the matchup. Halfway through this 85th minute. And now Illinois Tech in possession out near midfield. Thomas, who had a pretty good shot earlier. They play it for Miller. Miller, nice dribble. He goes for goal. Ball knocked down. A chance to try to charge the net for Illinois Tech. Skiba goes for goal. And again, the save made by Pritzlav. First Tatum Miller, then Nick Skiba. But the result the same. Neither able to get Illinois Tech on the board for the 10th time this evening. Sanchez playing it along the sideline. Sanchez plays it back over to Frisch. Samuel Frisch, the junior out of Greendale, Wisconsin. Wadwa sort of dribbled the opposite direction of in which the coaching staff wanted that ball to go. And now he goes to the outside. Went to the side opposite of the Rockford sideline, which is the east side of the pitch. And now Illinois Tech had possession but a foul as Kuban was starting to dribble up the pitch, the senior out of Lombard, Illinois. There's Kuban with the ball. He'll roll it back. And Illinois Tech will resume action with Zach Skiba playing it to the middle of the pitch. Alvarado, the Lane Tech alum, number 20 for Illinois Tech. Out of right here in Chicago. There's Alvarado again with the touch. Plays it back to Shemetris. Shemetris will play it back to the keeper, Nagara Holly. Nagara Holly out of Austin, Texas. Much the same as Dylan Thomas. And now whistle out near midfield. Illinois Tech with a 9-0 advantage here on the scoreboard, looking to secure their spot as the 5th overall seed in the NAC Men's Conference Tournament. In that regard, St. Norbert with a 1-0 advantage over MSOE. That match in the final 30 seconds, so that result could go final shortly, with Illinois Tech being prepared to meet MSOE in the 4-5 matchup on the men's side. Nagara Holly plays the ball over to Skiba. Scarlet Hawks out near midfield trying to play it to the outside. It's going to be a long run for Thomas as that ball goes out of play with Dylan Thomas in pursuit. Scarlet Hawks sub, Christian Garcia, the senior out of Burbank, Illinois, the former St. Lawrence Viking, back on the pitch. He replaced Kumar. And now the Scarlet Hawk throw. Play it to that Rockford back line. Abler is going to watch it go to the keeper, Pritzlav. And Pritzlav sends it down to Obizi. Ball sent in. Chance to go to Roth. Roth to the net and a goal for Roth. So Rockford in their season finale here get the goal from Andrew Roth. That's the first goal for Rockford since October 4th, back when they took on Wisconsin Lutheran. Second goal of the season for Andrew Roth, assisted by Charles Obizi. So Rockford, that ends a stretch of 6 straight matches. Rockford had been scoreless. They've been shut out for 6 straight matches. They get on the board here. They'll make it 9-1 Scarlet Hawks. Scarlet Hawks well on their way to the Once again, the 5 seed in the NAC quarterfinals. I'm sure they would have loved to complete the clean sheet here, keep Rockford off the board. Rockford hadn't scored in their last 6 matches, so that streak comes to an end thanks to Roth getting his 2nd goal of the season. Elsewhere, St. Norbert, that match has gone final, so St. Norbert will be the 3 seed in the NAC. They'll see Dominican in the 3-6 matchup, and it'll be Illinois Tech versus MSOE in the 4-5 matchup. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the women's side, we've been keeping a watchful eye on all of the matches that have anything to do with possible Scarlet Hawk quarterfinal affairs. The 1-minute call goes off here at Stuart Field, and we know MSOE has beaten St. Norbert in women's soccer, so St. Norbert is eliminated, and Aurora will see Illinois Tech in the 1-8 matchup. So Illinois Tech, Aurora, 1-8 on the women's side. Illinois Tech, MSOE in the 4-5 matchup on the men's side. Illinois Tech, of course, will go to Milwaukee. Rockford's season will come to an end, but Andrew Roth will actually get the final goal of the season for Rockford. And this their final match of the season, and it ends a stretch of 6 straight matches where the Regents were unable to score. Final 15 seconds as the clock continues to tick here at Stuart Field. Andrew Roth with that goal, once again his 2nd. And the only other time Roth had scored this season occurred in the win against Concordia University of Chicago for Rockford. But here tonight, Illinois Tech with a 9-1 win. They locked themselves into the number 5 seed in the NAC men's conference standings. And they conclude the season with a record of 10-5-3. They'll go to 7-3-2 in conference play. So Illinois Tech will see the MSOE Raiders in the 4-5 matchup in the NAC men's conference tournament. Meanwhile, Illinois Tech will host on the women's side against Aurora. So that wraps it up here, and that wraps up the 2025 NAC men's soccer regular season. Illinois Tech with 9 goals. They win it 9-1. They outshoot Rockford 29-5, 19-4 on goal. It was Rebelato, Cal Graham twice, Mateo Sakira 5 times, and Theo Balea adding the goal total for Illinois Tech as the Scarlet Hawks win it 9-1 to wrap up the 2025 NAC men's soccer regular season. Andrew Roth with 1 final goal for Rockford to end a stretch of 6 straight matches where the Regents had been held without a goal, but their season comes to an end with a record of 2-15-1, and they finish 1-11 in conference play. Marlon McKenzie gets the Scarlet Hawks to 10 wins, and now they go on to the NAC conference quarterfinals where they'll see the MSOE Raiders. And the next time we'll have Scarlet Hawks soccer will be Saturday as the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks women's soccer team, the number 1 overall seed in the NAC women's soccer season, will play host to the visiting Aurora Spartans. For Eric Willowhite and for all of our crew here at Stuart Field representing Illinois Tech, I'm Chris Rouse. This has been Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks men's soccer, where once again our final, the Scarlet Hawks defeat the Rockford Regents 9-1. Illinois Tech will now be the 5 seed and see MSOE in the 4-5 matchup of the NAC conference quarterfinals. And then on the women's side, the 1 seed Scarlet Hawks will look to defend their crown as they take on the Aurora Spartans in the quarterfinals. Once again, so long from Stuart Field in Chicago as we get ready for NAC conference soccer coming up this weekend. Good night.